Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Dr.
Uh,
Sheetal.
yes. Can you
Yeah.
listen me?
Yes, Dr.
Okay.
Sheetal. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a slides?
Yes. Please start the presentation.
Yes. You can
Okay.
do next from your side
Okay.
also.
Okay. I'll just see where the option is there.
Yes.
Yes,
In
yes, yes.
slides
I got it.
below.
I got it. Can
Okay.
can we start? Can we start today?
Yes. Just I
Okay.
will introduce you.
Yeah.
Welcome on the platform of vedayuonline.com. And
Hello, everybody.
here is our third Durga, Dr. Apurva Gosavi. And our today's topic, first I will introduce about Dr. Apurva Gosavi. Apurva Gosavi is an MBBS, DGO, DNB in obstet. She is obstetrician and gynecologist with 10 years of experience and medical officer in charge at BMC Maternity Clinic at Borivali. So today's topic is tocophobia, that is the fear regarding pregnancy and childbirth. So thank you very much, Dr. Apurva, for giving us a time and giving knowledge regarding this such a nice topic. So here is
My
dice is
pleasure.
yours. Dice is yours now, and we'll
Yeah.
take the questions at the end of the session. Okay.
Okay. Thank you
So
so much, Dr. Sheetal.
yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all wonderful people. First afternoon of the week. Wishing you all a very happy Navratrotsav. Navratri is worshipping of goddess that is in the form of Durga, Lakshmi, Kali, and Saraswati, as Dr. Sheetal has told. It is not only the goddess depicts peace, prosperity, and knowledge, but also depicts fearlessness. How to rise above the demon of the fear and conquer it. So, with the blessings of the goddess, let us start today's session. Myself, Dr. Apurva Sandesh Gosavi. I'm a practicing obstetrician and gynecologist for more than 10 years. I'm medical officer in charge at BMC Maternity Home with the experience of attending array of patients from rural to urban areas and from downtrodden to all the elite class. What I've gathered from the experience is that there are lots of myths and misconceptions about childbirth, which leads to a phenomena called as tocophobia. Now let us go to our first slide. Now, actually, what is it? Let us see what is it. Can we ever imagine that a very normal phenomena or natural process, okay, which happens very commonly all throughout the world, can cause such a psychiatric and emotional twist and twirl that a person is not ready to go through it at all. The evolution, the progression, the development, and the population explosion all have occurred because of a natural phenomena which has been taking place since ages, which is the childbirth. But then, why is it that some people have it and some people don't? Some people deliver children without pain. To understand this, let us take a normal and natural phenomena like passing urine. Okay, can you imagine a normal painless phenomena like passing urine can be so difficult that a person prefers the pain of bursting bladder than going to the urine? Now, to understand this better, let us see a case. Now, a small girl comes to you who has not gone for urine for 2 to 3 days. She's crying all the time due to pain, but not ready to pass urine. We actually had to catheterize her and was followed by a long session of counseling. Now imagine what would have happened. Number one, let us go to the history. Some bad emotional trauma, like lights going out when you go to the toilet. This happens mostly with children. Somebody scaring you with voices. This also happens most of the times. Some fear of unknown ghost is there in the toilet, due to which children don't go to toilet alone. The environment in older girls, like privacy, which is very important, someone onlooking, childhood sexual abuse, which is also very common cause. In adults, if you see, there's something called as urinary infection, which in medical terms is called as urethritis. While passing urine only earlier, you have had immense pain. Because of this history, you are unlikely to, you may bear the pain but not go to urine the next time. So, in a very common and natural phenomena like urination, so many things can happen which can lead to something called as paruresis. Now, fear of going to a urination is called as paruresis or shy bladder. So, imagine how many things work up and so many factors are there when childbirth comes into picture. So, here we are looking what is tocophobia. Now, as you can see the slide, tocophobia is a significant fear of childbirth. It is not just a fear of childbirth, it is significant fear of childbirth. It is a common reason why some women request for dash. Now this dash I have purposefully left it blank so that through the course of the slides we will know the answer to this, and many of you must be knowing the answer to this. Many of them request for dash. Now what is this dash we will see. The word comes from Greek in which it means phobia means fear obviously, but tokos means childbirth. Literally not childbirth, it means uterine contractions as we use tocolysis or tocometer in medical terminology. Let us see what are the types. First is primary tocophobia, which is understandable. Patient has never undergone pregnancy, so it is understandable that she has fear of childbirth. But what about secondary tocophobia, in which she has previous experience of childbirth, she has previous experience of labor pain, but then why is it that she is so much fearful about it? Now, understanding about this, that everybody has fear of childbirth, what's so new in it? So let us, the third slide will explain it to us about the prevalence. Prevalence means how common a situation is. In that, there is absolute tocophobia, in which the patient doesn't want to get pregnant at all. And because of this fear, she has over usage of contraception, over usage of morning after pills, over usage of contraceptive pills, which again has hormonal side effects. So, when the patient prefers death instead of pregnancy and childbirth, it is absolute tocophobia. And the prevalence is 0.03%. Secondly, there is something called as fear of childbirth, which is more commoner that every single lady has fear of childbirth. Now, when I had researched on this, I had given them a visual analog scale where they had to plot how much is your fear from 0 to 10. And more than 50% of them had marked more than 5. So that much is the prevalence of this, we can call as relative tocophobia or fear of childbirth. And it is more commoner variety and the rate is 14%. So after fear, now let us go to the imaginary thing as when we ask the ladies, what do you fear about? What is it exactly that you fear about? Now, when I was a student in GMC Aurangabad, there around 40 to 50 deliveries used to take place, and 10 to 12 cesarean sections used to take place every single day. So I used to wonder why these ladies who are coming, they are coming with so much of fear. So that's when my teacher called me and asked me, okay, so you want to know what do they fear? So first and foremost, what you do is that you don't fear childbirth or anything like that. You don't fear going to the labor room. So I said, it's a normal phenomenon for me, madam. Why should I fear? So she said, okay, tomorrow I have to go for my passport verification. You come with me to the police station. So I said, oh my God. So she asked me, why are you saying, oh my God? What is it that you are fearing? So I told them there might be criminals there, there might be people hitting some criminals, there might be somebody who is yelling and crying. So she told me exactly. These are all imaginary things what you imagine and what Bollywood shows you, maybe. But actually, there is nothing of that sort. Just imagine a situation when you're out on the road at 2 a.m. in the night and you see a lady constable or you see a lady police officer. How do you feel? You feel safe that at least somebody is there with us. So in a police station, when 10 policemen are there around you, who is going to do what to you? So the fear is imaginary. That's what she explained me. So what do you fear exactly? That is what we research. That what is it that the patient is fearing? Just note it down. And once the patient comes with you first time, second time, third time, you show her the labor room, you show her the environment. If she comes 10 times with you and attend 10 deliveries, 11 times she will tell a person that come, I will show you, there is nothing to fear. You come with me, I will take you. That is what happens usually when a person attending a patient comes. So as we see, the what exactly the patient fears, that is also being researched. And when we found out the percentages, the fear of labor pain is the most important and highest on the chart. Second one is fear of episiotomy, which is a cut which is given on the vagina so that it helps in normal delivery of the patient. It helps in uh, it helps in the good delivery of the patient. Third one is fear of complications. Somewhere that some complication might take place, and then somewhere something might go wrong. That is around 8%. Then comes fear of bleeding. The patient might bleed enormously, blood transfusion have to take place. Then there are fear of child complications where the child might get entangled, it might get arrested somewhere, and then there can be cesarean section. Then there is fear of unknown. Sometimes you are fearful about things, but you don't know what exactly you're fearful about. So that is around 3%. And fear of death. It is shown near about to death by everybody. That बाळंपण म्हणजे दुसरं मरण. It is said like this in Marathi. So it is near about to death, and that cultural beliefs and all the myths and misconception also lead to that fear of death, which is around 1%, which is the least because nowadays things are changing. What we see that what is the exact reason. So we will see about primary tocophobia first. Some painful stories about childbirth or something like that. Now, if I ask to all the attendees or anybody, any of the attendee whom I can ask, or you can ask this question to yourself, that how many children your grandma had, the answer will be more than 5. Then if I ask you how many children your mother had and how many siblings you have, the answer will be more than 2. Okay, from 5 you have come to 2. And then how many children you have? The answer will be definitely 1. I am having 2 children, of course, but the answer will not be more than 2. So what is the reason for this? First and foremost is, now I'm going to utter a word which will have another 1 more hour of discussion, or somewhere Dr. Sheetal will post 1 more lecture of mine, that is decreased fertility throughout the ages. That is one of the reasons. Secondly, what used to happen at earlier days is that out of the more than 5 children which your grandma had, she had conceived 10 times and only 5 of them survived if you go into the history. Then comes your mother, in which cesarean section was not very common, but yes, it was there. So the neonatal death had decreased, and success rate of a child being born successfully had increased. And now we bear only 1 or 2 children. That's why it is very, very essential that the mother and the child is in good place, and that's why the there is something called as pandemic. Pandemic, the one which has occurred now, like that there was a pandemic of cesarean section. We'll come through it. The thing I want to tell is that in earlier days, there used to be around 10 or 15 people in the house, and around 4 to 5 ladies who had, and we used to see so many children in the house, in a single house during our grandma's time. So all of them used to share their experiences with each other, and we used to see it as a natural, normal phenomena. So nobody used to fear that much. Then came a time when the number of children decreased, cesarean section increased. Cesarean section is one of the parts, but the thing is that nuclear families started increasing, and then there were very less people to share. And coming down to our generation, there are very few people. Sometimes husband and wife is only there, and sometimes now the couples, they are opting for being childless by choice. That is, they don't want children only, though they can conceive. So these things are there. Some painful stories about childbirth, which with somebody, I mean, very less people to talk about all these things, and then if we share, if anybody shares a story which is very painful, that I had to undergo this, I had to undergo that during this thing, then it becomes really difficult. Cultural beliefs are there. The way I told that in some cultures, childbirth is taken as very painful thing, and but thankfully in Indian culture, every single childbirth, every single conception is taken as a matter of celebration. It's a matter of celebration. We celebrate every single conception. Then there is Godh Bharai. Then there are many functions. So that thing, because of the cultural beliefs, fearing childbirth is not there until and unless during these functions you have seen some bad thing happening. Then comes as psychiatric problems, of course, anxiety, depression, and all those. History of sexual abuse is a very common cause for fear of childbirth. History of sexual abuse, because as Freudian principle says, Sigmund Freud is a father of psychiatry, and according to him, all the psychiatric conditions, be it anxiety, depression, or whatever, has its cause in your sexuality. So, history of sexual abuse in childhood is a very common cause for fear of childbirth. Then there is something called as vaginismus. Now, vaginismus, let me explain in very common term, that whenever a lady has sexual intercourse, there is significant and pathological in the sense something which requires treatment. So significant contraction of the muscles which she is not able to relax at all. So that vaginismus is there. Again, the history goes into childhood sexual abuse or some sexual trauma. Then comes social media and depiction in movies. So how is childbirth depicted in movies? It is some bad, gloomy night, and there is thunderstorm, and there is a woman who is crying and yelling, and other people holding her, and she's being tied by a rope and whatever. So all these things used to govern us when we used to see a lot of movies. Nowadays, social media has taken its toll, and nowadays the one video is viral in which the obstetrician uses a lighter to change the baby's position and all that. So seeing all these things, obviously anybody will be alarmed, and they will say that it's okay not to have a children, but I don't want to go through all this. I don't want a baby to be burnt and all that. So all these things, they are shown in and depicted in movies as near about to death phenomena. So seeing all these things only, people get alarmed and they have the fear of childbirth. Then experience of bad child upbringing. Sometimes we see children who have been left like that only on the road or something like that, and parents are not looking at them at all. So seeing all these things also, we feel that some couples feel that they might not have children at all. Emotional trauma in the past. Some emotional trauma is there because of which there is. So when you are counseling the patient, you have to go to the roots of all these things. Let's go to the next slide, which is reason for tocophobia in that is secondary. Just 1 second.
Doctor? Hello. Hello.
And hello, Dr. Sheetal, the slide is not uploading. Yeah, it is uploaded. Yeah, so we
Okay.
will come to secondary. Yeah, secondary. Uh, the reason for tocophobia, which is the secondary tocophobia, in which a woman has had childbirth previously. So, history of painful childbirth. Then there is stillbirth in previous pregnancy, or near-death experience in previous pregnancy. Anything, any significant thing which has happened in previous pregnancies, which has had a solid emotional trauma to her, which has caused the emotional twist and twirl, so that she fears that she will not undergo pregnancy again. Near-death experience. Some people might have touch the death and come back, and then they or which is accompanied by long ICU admissions. So once you are there in the ICU for a long time because of eclampsia is when the patient has fits due to raised blood pressure in pregnancy, previous miscarriage or neonatal death, previous baby long NICU admissions. If the baby is also there for in the NICU for a long time, then also the parent doesn't want to get pregnant again. Previous anomalous baby, a baby with some abnormality, which the parent had to look after for a long time. So obviously they will not want to have a baby, and these kind of couples also require a lot and lot of counseling. Previous baby's bad childhood experience. If the baby is troubling you too much that it has taken an emotional toll out of you, then also you feel. If the baby is too mischievous, and something called as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or ADHD, which most of the children, because of the mobile phone addiction they are facing this time, they are not attentive at and they cannot sit at one place at all. So because of this, they don't want to get pregnant again. This one.
Internet is okay?
Okay. So let us come to a very important aspect of this. That is, what are the solutions of the tocophobia? Now, again, going to the first slide, tocophobia is a significant fear of childbirth and is a common reason why the woman requests dash. Now, the answer for this is cesarean section. As we have discussed earlier, that there is a pandemic of the cesarean section which is taking place. So if a person requests cesarean section, so should you go ahead and accept a request of cesarean section or not? So there is that every single patient, if requesting for cesarean section because she fears labor pain and because she is not able to bear down, many of the patients they are so fearful that they request even sometimes when there is no there is what is the reason for cesarean section? Sometimes there are drop in the fetal heart rate. Sometimes the baby passes stools inside. So there are n number of reasons for cesarean section. If there are no indication for cesarean section still, just because the patient tells that do my cesarean section, medically correct actually. But this particular request has led to a pandemic of cesarean section. The rate of cesarean section in any hospital should not be more than 12 to 15%, but now it has risen above 50% just because of this reason. This is a very common reason that because of the patient's demand, we are opting for cesarean section, which is Not correct. Counseling has to be done. But just in case she is having that absolute tocophobia, instead of undergoing childbirth, I might die. Just instead of that, if at all cesarean section can save the baby and can save the patient, then yes, of course, that can be taken as one of the indications. But there is something midway in between these two extremes. That is normal natural childbirth, even though the patient is not ready for it, and cesarean section. There is one more thing in between the two, that is painless delivery. That is given by epidural anesthesia, and you can undergo a painless delivery. In painless delivery, during the time when the labor pain starts, from that time till the os is fully open, maybe 12 hours might go, sometimes 24 hours might go, and for some patients, 48 hours, 72 hours might also go. So, in that, there is so much of restlessness and so much of discomfort that the patient is not able to sit down, she is not able to stand, she is not able to do anything. So, there's so much of discomfort because the os is opening. Basically, they should be counseled that because the os is opening, you are in such a position, and after the os actually opens, the pain is just of pushing. So patient are not able to go through that pain of os opening only, and during that time only they ask for cesarean section. So that they can bypass this phase of os opening of those 12 hours, of those 72 hours, and then maybe they can go to the next stage, which is pushing. At that time there is not so much of discomfort and only pain is there which they can bear. So that is something which must be counseled. So there is one thing, that option must be given to the patient of epidural anesthesia or painless delivery. Okay, you are fearing pain, so here is another solution, that in the midway between the two extremes there is painless delivery that we can see. Now the solutions I have divided into three, that is during the pregnancy, during the delivery, and post delivery. Okay, so what is the first most important part in the solution of pregnancy is that there must be, sorry, there must be pregnancy classes, something like exercises in pregnancy, yoga and meditation. Now all these three things, if at all taken very sincerely during the pregnancy only, then it helps the patient a lot because she knows what to expect during the delivery. The most of the time the pain is also because of the stretched ligaments and because of the stiff muscles. So if the muscles relax due to the exercises in pregnancy and pregnancy classes, in pregnancy classes you should also build their intuition up that what to expect in the labor room and what to expect during the delivery. And yoga and meditation, of course, is an age-old procedure which helps a lot in decreasing the anxiety and being mindful about what you are going to expect. As far as Garbha Sanskar is concerned, I think Vedayu Online has its own this thing on this platform. Garbha Sanskar classes, all those pregnant females, you should take good advantage of this, because in Garbha Sanskar, the main aim of why the baby is in your womb and what is you are expecting out of the life being in your womb, that is explained. That itself is explained what is the purpose of, because many patients after putting lakhs of rupees for IVF and other things also do not conceive. You have conceived, it's a blessing in disguise, and that should be taken as a blessing. Counseling and counseling is the root of the solution of tocophobia. You have to counsel a patient a lot, and many counseling sessions have to be taken place. Reassurance by the obstetric staff. Now, this is a very important part in the solution. Instead of anybody else explaining her, it is very important that the obstetric staff or the obstetric people is the people who are conducting the delivery. Those staff and those people, they should reassure that nothing bad will happen. We are there for your support. All the facilities are there in this labor room, and your baby will be taken care of. Now, another very important part. This is a very important part, because obstetric staff is only there till they hand over the baby to you. After that, after going home, who is going to take care? The family support is there. Now, this family support is very important, especially if she is an elderly patient. Above 35 years, we call elderly these days. So, above 35 years patient, the family support is very important because she is already elderly, and after that, the whole process of labor pains and delivery is not going to be easy for her or for a normal delivery. So post that, Then secondly, she also has a fear of the baby being anomalous. So we do double marker, triple marker tests, we do anomalies, can we do everything. So the family should support her and tell that nothing will go wrong, and anything, if at all goes wrong, we are there for you. That is a very, very important thing that the family should tell. Then there's reading of meaningful literature instead of watching the Bollywood movies. Is reading of meaningful literature which will decrease the anxiety. This is also a very important aspect of the solution. Then during the in the labor room or during the delivery, a very important part which is there in the Western countries is a birth attendant or doula. Whenever why Indian women fear childbirth so much, because there is nobody to attend her delivery there. In Western countries, the husband is allowed to attend the delivery. But here, because some people might not have those much nerves to see their own wife delivering and all that, and so much of blood and everything. So we don't allow husbands to attend the delivery. But a birth attendant is there, which doesn't have professional skills of delivery or anything like that. She is any other lay person, but she is an emotional support to her. She might be any maid, she might be her sister, she might be her mother, which is a very good, important and good part of a doula being there. They fear childbirth so much because they have to attend and they have to undergo it all by themselves, they're all alone. There is nobody from their family or nobody to give them emotional support. Now, what does the doula do? She just gives her emotional support. She just gives her water when required. She just gives her cold drink when required. She just gives her biscuits or whatever, napkin, towel, tissues, soap to wash, or assists her during wash basin, takes her to toilet. That is all she does. But this is a very important part. If at all a doula is there or a birth attendant is there with the patient, then the anxiety goes down significantly. Good birth home environment, again, as I told, as is depicted in the Bollywood movies, it is not like that. Nowadays, there are good labor rooms in all the nursing homes. There are music, this music therapy, what I'm telling is the soft music should always be played in the labor room. So it keeps the anxiety also down, and there are other advantages of the music therapy. Then there is labor counseling. During the labor, the most important factor which will bring the anxiety down is your obstetrician or your doctor being besides you. That is a very, very important thing which all the ladies should understand. If the doctor is there, then nothing can go wrong. And that counseling has to be done by the doctor to the patient. And sometimes this role is also played by the by the ANM or the attendant who is there. They also have a lot of experience, and sometimes they also counsel the patient, and counseling by them the patient understands more because they feel more attached towards that Mausi, Dai or Aya Mausi who is there. Now, labor room exercises, again, what is to be expected when pushing down, when the horse actually opens up, that has to be explained to the patient initially only. Once she knows what is to be expected, how exercises are to be done, this is to be done in pregnancy also, or pregnancy also, and during the labor room also. Then epidural anesthesia again is very, very important aspect in which it can bring down the anxiety that all throughout that 12, 24 or 48 hours you will not have to bear that pain. Then preparation and counseling for cesarean section if required has to be done earlier only. Then post-delivery. What is important post-delivery is post-delivery counseling. Now, once delivery has taken place, everybody feels that, okay, now everything is over, everything is fine now. But it is this time when the actual, what we say, toll of being a mother takes place, because motherhood doesn't start from the labor pains. It starts when you actually become a mother and when you bear the child and when the child is with you. Your sleepless nights begin from there. So they are that time only they are so much fearful about what we have to handle the baby, we have to attend the baby, and 24 hours I'll be bound to her and I cannot go anywhere. That itself takes a lot of anxiety. That itself makes the patients very anxious. Post delivery, first contact with the baby is very, very important. As soon as the baby is born, it is taken to NICU, it is stabilized and everything. But the first contact with the baby, the first touch of the baby only brings down the anxiety. Then stabilization of the patient, which is very important, which is a medical entity which the doctors does. Then allowing the access to family members after delivery as soon as possible. You should allow access to the family members. Once the family members are there, she knows that everybody is there, everybody, the baby is fine, everything is fine, then also the anxiety comes down. Creating an environment of celebration. This is usually done in all the Indian settings. There is an environment of celebration, there's distribution of sweets, there is planning of a party and everything. So that gives her an experience that whatever child is born to me is a means of celebration. Usually you see, I mean, I've seen this in rural setup that if the patient is delivering for third or fourth time, then if a baby girl is born, then all the gloomy faces are seen, and I don't like that at all. But you should also remember that the mother has undergone so much of pain. Whatever you are expecting, that is not correct to expect a boy after 3 or 4 children. Again, if she bears a girl, this is the most common cause why patient goes in post-delivery depression. So this is a very very important cause, which again needs a lot of counseling, especially of the family members. You require the counseling, especially of the mother-in-law, not to be funny. Minimizing the risk of post-delivery depression. Post-delivery, many patients go into depression. So this is a very important aspect that we should remember, that once delivery takes place, everything is over. It's not like that. Post-delivery also, the patient requires lot of emotional support. And emotional support, especially by the family, is very, very, very important. So these are my points about solutions. A lot of research is taking place into how we should decrease the anxiety of this patient and the tocophobia and fear. So all throughout these years, these are the solutions which the people have come, which people have came up about, and I've actually used all these. And post this, again, a research was done as the fear of childbirth has decreased or not, and it has decreased significantly of all the patients. Very important part is counseling. What you talk is registered in patient's mind, and it causes a lot of emotional twists and twirls. So it is very important that you have to explain that it's a normal natural phenomena and everything will be fine. That is what you have to explain. But a very important thing, that nowadays people research a lot from Google, and they know that what complications can take place. And sometimes earlier, as I had told, that in our grandma's time, ignorance was a bliss. They were not knowing only what complication could take place, and that's why they didn't fear that much. Then there was emotional and family support, but nowadays not much. These things have minimized, and that's why we must see that we give as much support as possible to the lady. So these were my points about the solution. So about this tocophobia, I what I want to say is, nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. Thank you so much, Dr. Sheetal. Thank you so much, everybody, for your patient listening and the time which you have given me. And it's a pleasure to give a lecture on this platform. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, madam. How simply you explain the very difficult topic. It's really appreciating, and I would like to take this topic again in Hindi language also.
Oh, yeah,
It is
sure,
very
sure.
important thing in
Yeah,
women's life, because every woman is going through that pain and the incidence of pregnancy, I think. So every
yeah,
woman should know this knowledge about tocophobia. And thank you very much from the platform of Veda you also, and we would like to have you again and again on the platform. And
sure,
thank
sure,
you very
sure.
much to the listeners also. And if anyone want to ask the questions now or after the session, also they can contact me on my personal WhatsApp number. And thank you very much once again for this session. And
Yeah.
we'll end
Thank
it
you
this
so much.
session with this note that we'll meet again and again and again.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. My
Yes.
pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
yeah,
Bye. Bye.
yeah. Bye.